Okay, let me come back to you.
okay,
She's been very
okay,
patient. So
okay.
I know you're probably not
It-
going
it
to
is
ask
a
about
different
the
topic,
South
though.
China Sea. It's fine.
Change
It's
it, yeah.
fine. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yesterday, commenting on the Dutch investigation report, Mr. Toner said it does say that MH17 was shot down by Buk missile fired from separatist-controlled area in eastern Ukraine, and we've said it from day one. Here's what the actual report says. Page 147. The area from which the possible flight paths of a 9N314M warhead carried on a 9M38 series missile as installed on the Buk surface-to-air missile system could have commenced is about 320 square kilometers in the east of Ukraine. Further forensic research is required to determine the launch location. Such work falls outside the mandate of the Dutch Safety Board. I understand that Mr. Toner voiced the U.S. assessment, but why attribute it to the Dutch report when he wasn't there?
Well, I think what the Dutch Safety Board investigation was looking at was the precise coordinates of the launch location and not the general area. And from the very beginning, we have said that and we had information that made clear to us that the general launch area was in separatist-held territory. And I think that that's supported by what the Dutch Safety Board has reported, that area that they reported it coming from is the same area where we believed it came from at the time. Now, I think what that's referring to is, the specific location in terms of like a no-kidding grid coordinates, which I understand they didn't have in the report. But in terms of the general area in which it occurred, their findings concurred with our findings at the time, that it was in an area that was controlled largely by separatists.
That is the U.S. assessment, but the report itself does not say that the missile was fired from separatist-controlled area. It's what the U.S. says. Why?
It subscribes an area that we knew back then.
Yes,
was
the U.S. knew
separatist
back then,
control.
but it's not what the report said. Mr. Toner said that is what the Dutch report said, and I read to you what the Dutch report actually says.
I think if you lay the report, and its findings over what we said at the time, you'll see that they match in terms of what generally happened here.
Where exactly in the report does it say that it comes from a separatist-controlled area? Do I understand it correctly that Mr. Toner just misspoke?
No, I don't think he did. I don't think he did. We have long maintained, and nothing in the Dutch Safety Board investigation contradicts this. In fact, it supports it, that it was a Buk surface-to-air missile and that it was fired from Russian-controlled separatist territory.
Where
now,
in
exactly
the report
where
does it say that? Well, it says, I'm looking at it, says further forensic research is required to determine the launch location. Such work falls outside the mandate of the Dutch Safety Board. Where in the report does it say that the missile came from rebel-controlled area in eastern Ukraine?
The report basically validates exactly what we knew at the time. A Buk surface-air missile fired from separatist, an area that at the time,
as the U.S. assesses,
at the time, not just the United States, but we knew was Russian-controlled separatist territory. And we're very comfortable in the findings of the Dutch Safety Board. We appreciate the hard work that went into it. And we continue to want to see those responsible for this to be brought to account.
Can I ask one more question on that investigation report? So what the investigators also said yesterday was that the warning signs were there for the Ukrainian authorities to close the airspace. I mean, war was going on the ground and in the air, but that hasn't been done. Do you think there should be some responsibility for not taking such an important precaution?
I think there's a whole other set. This safety board was responsible for determining the what. What happened, what brought the plane down. And then, as you know, there's a criminal investigation looking into accountability, and I think we need to let that work go on. And I think that's the process that needs to be followed right now. But regardless, somebody fired that missile, right? We know it was fired from Russian-controlled separatist territory, and that it was a Buk surface-to-air missile, which the Ukrainians did not have. and innocent people died because their airliner got shot out of the sky. And I think it's important that we remember those people and those victims and their families, and to let the investigators continue to do their work so the proper people can be brought to account for this horrific incident. And that's what the focus ought to be. That's what the focus ought to be.
That's right. It just days
No,
before.
I'm going to move on now.